time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by TheDartZone.com. Stay in the zone. TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics, and Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts.
Are you shaking your head?
It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by TheDartZone.com. Stay in the zone. TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics, and Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome
right.
to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
Lovely Virginia Beach.
Apparently, the sand affects the audio.
Yeah, it must have been getting in the
Got
mics or
some
something.
sand in there or
So, sorry, we didn't have time to clean everything up. So we're just going to have to go with it. Welcome everyone.
Welcome.
Dart Talk, April
9th.
9th, 2014. Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. And how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
How was your little Dart Talk vacation?
It was all right. Stayed at home. Didn't do much.
Staycation?
Staycation. Yeah.
Watch some what? NCAA?
Cooked some dinner. There wasn't anything on Wednesday night. What was on? I don't know.
Law and Order?
Yeah,
SVU,
probably.
Criminal Intent, or Criminal Minds. I don't know. We're up against
Magnum PI or something.
Magnum PI. I discovered Netflix over the course of and I actually, believe it or not, I had a great vacation. I was in Virginia for a week.
That's nice.
Never been to Richmond.
Was the weather good?
Yeah, it was pretty. It was one day was spectacularly fantastic, and the rest of the days were pretty good. So the weather cooperated, except driving back. Nothing like driving 6 hours in the rain.
In the rain.
Yeah, it's kind of tiring. I didn't do much of the driving. Actually, Jill did most of it. So, I was wiped.
How tiring for that? Is that for you?
It was more tiring for her, I think.
Yeah, right.
Let's disclaim any and everything.
We shall.
All right.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Okay. Thanks, Parther. Aaron, where were we? What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, driving back.
Driving back.
Let me tell you, Richmond is a very interesting place. I've never spent any time. I'm a Yankee. I'm from the North. I grew up in, born and bred in Chicago.
Right.
Been living here I don't know how long.
You ever been to
Long
Richmond,
time.
Illinois?
I think so.
Oh, okay. So you've been to Richmond.
But Richmond, Virginia, they have statues of Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee. Actually, the guy we were staying with, his kid is going to go to Lee Davis High School. Instead of Martin Luther King Day, they actually have King Lee Lewis.
Oh, really?
King Lee Jackson. Or Jackson Lee King Day or something.
Okay.
And I was just sort of everybody was very, very nice in Virginia. We
Right.
went to a bunch of places. I actually stumbled across some dartboards, but Didn't really have my darts. It was like a total dart vacation. Stayed off of Facebook.
Had Virginia lost to Michigan by then? Michigan State.
Yes, I
mean.
think they had.
Okay.
I think they had before we got there. So, and now I'm going to Kentucky this weekend, and Kentucky just lost. So apparently, I don't know. I'm going to take the blame for a lot of this stuff. Buffering. Awfully sorry for the beginning of the show. I don't know. I'm rusty.
We had
Take a week off, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
But welcome to Virginia Beach.
Yes, it's a nice picture.
That's from the balcony of our hotel room.
Balcony. That's where we're at right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's from the balcony of our hotel room.
Okay.
You'll see on the bottom crawl we have results. We have all the results from Virginia Beach, all the events. We also have Darts Live results. They had the stage 1 in Macau, and I have to say, kind of a poor showing by the Americans. We had I think I counted 10 Americans showed up. Kind of a large field, it looked like, but we only had one guy in the top 8, one guy in the top 16, and that was it. Nobody else could do better than top 64, and I was like, wow, that's kind of like, usually we do better than that. Oh, and I have a picture of the winner that I will try to grab during the first break that you'll all get a kick out of. So Adrian Gray won the Darts Live. Great guy. He's the guy that knocked me out in Chicago when the PDC was here.
Oh, all right.
He took out like a 158 to break my throw in the set I'm supposed to win. I ended up losing 3-1.
Okay.
And at 158 out, every time I hear the guy's name, that's all I think about.
That's all you can remember.
And they were all dead center too, and I think I had missed like a dart at 32 or something to take out 72 or something. I don't know what I did, but I didn't win. I know that much.
But yeah,
I probably
that's
whiffed
the bottom line.
Probably I whiffed on 36.
Right.
Is probably what I did. But
and then you took out 158.
He took out a 158
after I
whiffed on 36, or I was on 72 whatever I was on. I don't know. It's depressing thought. I got to turn the sound off on my phone. Okay, so Virginia Beach was a remarkable tournament. And I had a chat with the tournament director, and we're going to try to get her on the show. We got a nice email from one of the Philly women. Remember we talked about, how come the women in Philly have their own league and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was puzzled by that.
Right.
I found that somehow striking. Not that it's a bad thing. It was just sort of like, well, people do things different ways in different places, right? So, but she wants to come on the show and talk about some of the women's stuff that they were going. And I know we got one listener who's always bugging us. Well, we need to talk more about women's darts, right? I had a dinner with the Whisper Twins.
Nice.
Sunday night in Virginia Beach. Had what a great time.
Do they even whisper at dinner?
They don't whisper.
No.
Yeah. I could see why they don't want that. They don't whisper at all. We had a great time with them, and we were talking about some of the issues in women's darts and stuff like that. And I just saw some post about it's kind of strange. A lot of people seem to think that women's darts is like somehow just a nuisance, and that the women don't support it. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. Well, they had a women's cricket pro shoot Friday in Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm. And I know this is kind of old news. I'm sorry. We have to catch up because we weren't here because, we're slackers. But I was impressed by the number of women that came out and played. I mean, it's like a much larger entry fee than women are used to playing, but they filled up all 4 qualifiers. It was a smashing success. The winner got, I think, $1,000 or, whatever it was, and it'll probably grow next year. So all these tournaments that are down on women saying, well, women this, women that. I mean, me not being a woman, I can't speak for them, but it seems to me that if it's successful in one place, it ought to be able to be successful in another place. I was at the Easy Money Open last year in Kentucky. There were events where there were more women than men. Okay? So, I mean, I think that there's a problem, and I don't know if it's a perception problem. I don't know if it's like kind of over the years, women stop going to certain tournaments because they feel they're getting dissed. So we're going to get some women on and talk about this. I don't know if we're going to be able to arrange it next week, but if not, we're going to do it the week after, and we'll get kind of like a ladies' roundtable, and we'll talk about women's darts issues. Cool.
All right.
So we're going to have like a whole women's dart show. I think it's going to be in 2 weeks because next week, and I guess we're getting all the announcements out of the way. Next week, we're going to do
I don't have to dress in drag, do I?
It's up to the listeners.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know. Well, yeah, I have to put a new poll out. I slacked on everything. I mean, I haven't put a new poll out. I haven't done anything. What was I going to say? Oh, it's up to the listeners. We'll have to put a poll out. Okay. Next week, we're going to do the draw.
Yes,
for
the second
round of the PCS and announce kind of what we're all doing and stuff. I still have to talk to a couple of tournament directors to get that all set.
Right.
And then it's possible that there will be a match. We got to figure out something. Alex Reyes had a great tournament in Virginia Beach. He won the men's cricket after Robbie Phillips just basically beat everyone. He had a draw. Every time you heard Robbie Phillips' name in the cricket singles, he was playing like a top 10 player, and he just beat them all.
Really?
And then come the final, he loses to Alex Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, what are you going to do? I mean, it's hard to keep it going, day after day after day.
For that long.
But, I mean, that was one of the most impressive things. But of Virginia Beach, I would have to say Robbie's run through the field. I mean, he just basically he beat everybody. I think he beat Larry Butler in the first round or something, and then from there he just kept beating,
pretty much everybody,
all the named players
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I think he beat Darren in the semi. And it's like, okay, if you literally beat everybody, and then don't win, I mean, I don't know, kind of. He seemed good about it. He seemed like he was, and Alex has been playing good.
Be a little upset.
No, Alex Reyes has been playing good. Danny Baggish had a great tournament. I chalked one of his matches. For me personally, the star of the tournament had to be Brian Blake.
Oh yeah.
Not only did Brian Blake win the 501 singles and get an invitation to the Winmau Masters, but how much time we got? Let me do a little Brian Blake thing.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes.
A couple of minutes. Well, the thing about Brian is, Brian was the number one player in America a few years ago.
Okay.
And, I don't know why he stopped playing. I think it was a combination of he's got work stuff, his kid's getting older, stuff like that. He wants to take his kid to softball games and stuff like that. And he's never really I've played him before, and my record against him is really good. And he must have remembered it.
Oh,
because
really?
I played him in the cricket singles, and I haven't been smashed.
And he came in firing.
He double corked me on the bull in the first leg. Opened up with a $180, and I'm like, really?
Nice.
I throw a 7 count. He throws another 7 count. I throw a 5 count. He throws a 7 count. I throw a 5 count. He throws a 7 count. And I get wiped out. And I'm like, I'm actually not playing that bad.
Yeah.
I will tell you the one thing that I learned. I mean, I'm having a terrible year. I've only been to 3 tournaments. I haven't played really good at any of them. But I was watching a little bit of the live from the Masters, right, where they sit somebody there in the yaks for half an hour.
Exactly, yeah.
Like Phil Mickelson taking all these veiled cheap shots at Tiger Woods. I find that entertaining. But the one thing somebody said was that you don't go to a major to find your game. You bring your game to the major.
Right, that makes sense.
And here I am, I'm going to these big tournaments. I went to Huntsville. I went to the North American 501 Championship, and then I went to the Cricket Championship in Virginia Beach. And here I am looking for my game. And Brian Blake brought his game.
Yeah.
I haven't been that impressed by somebody beating me bloody. I can't even remember the last time. And I mentioned it to Darren Young, and Darren's like, well, what about when I beat you? And I'm like, yeah, but when you beat me, like, you'll smash me one leg, I'll come back and smash you the next leg. Then you win the diddle, and you get the third leg, and, okay, whatever. Best of 3, who cares? I mean, this is best of 5 where I'm averaging, I averaged over 5 marks around, I'm pretty sure, and I wasn't really close.
Right.
And I'm like, geez, Louise. It was
the beatdown.
Yeah, it was sort of like a Marquis de Sade kind of match where, I just got flogged for 3 straight legs. I mean, I was really impressed, and I couldn't believe he didn't win. I mean, I don't know if he ran out of gas or, Robbie obviously was playing really well. But for him to win that 501, a couple of hundred of the best players in America, it was the toughest field I've ever seen in Virginia Beach.
Really?
There were so many good players qualifying on Thursday. I was just like, oh, my God, it's going to be a bloodbath. John Beard from Florida beat me in the first round Friday. He played great, but I wasn't the only seeded guy to go out in the first round. I think Larry Butler lost to a guy from the Bahamas. I think DJ Sarah was out in the first round of somebody. There were a couple of other guys. Sorry, I'm not pointing these guys out. I'm just saying the level of play
was great.
I'm pretty sure, if you ask these guys, they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't play that good." Yeah, well, the other guy did. So,
sure.
I don't know what to say about that. So it was a very, very good field.
It's a good tournament, and
it was a great
you
tournament.
got to look at this.
Well, yeah, that takes the sting out of it a little
Yeah,
bit. Is that
absolutely.
you get to look at the ocean if you get time to go up on the balcony and pout about how bad you're
exactly.
playing. So that was pretty cool. All right, let's take our first break. Let me see if I can find this picture. You listen to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve Poncelman, and we'll be back in a second, or two, or three.
The views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
All right, how'd that
Killing
go?
me, dude. Back for the second quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. And well, there's two more announcements that we
Okay.
didn't get to because, apparently I ramble. The first announcement is that somebody in the chat room was saying what?
about
Right before the show? You don't remember?
no.
Are you drinking before the show?
No, I
again?
have no idea what you're talking about. Saying what? Oh, I'm sorry. I do remember now.
On the
yes.
PDC.
I do remember. Yes, it has come back to me. Yes, that there's going to be no PDC matches this year.
No PDC events
In
North America.
right.
However,
Supposedly, there's going to be
what we're told,
an end of the year or a one-time tournament, winner take all, that goes to
the Ladbrokes World Championship. Now, didn't we suggest this on that? Didn't we suggest that on this very show?
Yeah,
I think the episode with Jay Tomlinson.
yeah. When
Didn't we say
when they
that's
weren't
what they
sure
should
when
do?
the dates were and all that stuff, and yeah.
So they're doing what we're saying. Be careful
Well,
what you wish
you know,
for,
that's-
right?
assuming that they actually listen to us, it could still be their own idea.
He was on the show. Well, okay, I guess he could have been like in one ear, out the other.
Right.
But, okay, so do we
So-
take credit for this?
No, not really. We'd just be happy that we're right. Doesn't mean we have
Well,
to take credit for it.
Okay, so, but this is what we're looking at now. We're looking at a winner take all
Right.
event to go to the World Championship.
Correct. Which
I'm in.
they're not exactly sure where yet, but apparently this is all just coming about.
Okay, they don't have
So-
a date and they don't have a venue,
Right.
but
They have an idea.
they basically told a bunch of people that that's what they're going to do.
Yes.
All right, we will effort confirmation on that. And I think that's pretty exciting. I think anybody who considers themselves a dart player ought to be at that one.
Do you think, though, at this time of year, though, trying to find a venue and a date that it's going to coincide with, things that have already scheduled?
There's plenty of open dates. I mean, the first quarter of the year is brutal.
Okay.
I mean, there's like
so by
every-
August or September, it's
August. Well, I mean, if you look at June's wide open. If you look at August, I think I haven't looked at the Darts Live America's Tour dates, but August usually there's only one big tournament in August. In September, there's really nothing.
okay.
As far as like large tournaments, like 20,000 plus. I mean, there's tournaments like WADA. I think is Labor Day weekend. I think every year. I may go to that one this year. Go back to Richmond. So that was exciting
Yeah.
that they're going to do that.
Right.
To be honest, we should take credit for that.
Okay.
I don't think that's too egotistical.
All right. That's fine.
Remind me to go grab the audio and we could play it before the show all the time. This is what you need to do, and then
Right, and then
Okay.
and then we'll be able to lead into the story about this is what they're doing.
Well, one of the nice things about this show is that when I go on the road and I talk to darters, we get a lot of positive reinforcement. Because it's not like I'm making this stuff up and nobody's ever thought of it. You know what I mean? And I think
True.
I'm not going to say I speak for all the darters on every single issue, but I think on a lot of issues we get a lot of agreement. When I'm critical of this organization or that organization, I mean everybody kind of nods their heads and like, yeah, you're right. Well, what do you do about it is where we're not getting consensus on a lot of this stuff. And I would love to stay out of all the politics. I mean, it's sort of impossible, but we'll try.
Okay.
So that's the one big announcement is that there will be basically a tournament where the winner gets to go to Ladbrokes.
Right. Winner take all.
I am all over that. I'm all over that. That's going to be
With the
that'll
game
be
you
the
got going
greatest
now?
event. Oh, well, I'm not saying I'm going to win,
Oh, no, I'm
but
just-
at least I got something to play for.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for me, living where I live, where, if I lived in New York City and there were all these tournaments every weekend, a lot of stuff that's easy to travel to, that'd be one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, living in Chicago where it's more expensive to go to everything, I have to be more selective, right? But at least, you put these tournaments in front of your head and you're like, okay, this is the tournament I'm preparing for. When you practice, when
Right.
you go out and play
That's-
with your buddies, whatever, at least you have, some goal.
Well, that's where the quote
to
comes
work
for,
for.
Going to majors. That's why the golfers plan their practice schedule around.
Yeah, and this schedule
The
was
majors.
the schedule this year was bad because I didn't have like a good warm-up event before Huntsville, and I didn't have a good warm-up event before Michigan, and I didn't have a good warm-up
hard to
event
find your
before
game.
VB. Yeah.
It's hard to bring your
I
game when you we don't have
Well,
time to
yeah,
find
I mean,
it.
if you can't find it and you don't pack it, you're kind of hosed.
Yeah.
But I was, I don't know. We'll see how my game if it gets any better. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not going to tournaments as often, and that your game will really suffer.
Sure.
If you're a tournament player that doesn't go to tournaments, it's a rough road when you're playing guys
When
that
you
are
finally go
getting
to
out
one.
there 3 or 4 times a month. I mean, it's to get your game tournament sharp, you got to play tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. You can pull that quote. Anyway, I did find the picture of Adrian Gray. Boris the Creature. The Creature was top 4.
Oh yeah.
Adrian Gray beat Yuichi Iguchi.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's close.
Yuji
Iguchi.
Yeah.
I should have talked to him, but I'm not sure he speaks English. I met him once. Nice kid.
Well, you still could have talked to him.
Well, how do you say your name?
Well,
If you don't speak English, I'm not sure that would have even gotten through. But, Okay, and we have another announcement. Okay, they if you look down in the crawl somewhere at the beginning, the Premier League is to the point now where they have relegated, I believe, for the second year in a row, Wes Newton
Yes.
and Simon Whitlock. I mean, is anybody
Not
gonna
the
tell
second
me-
year in a row for him, just for
not
Wes
for
Newton.
Whitlock? Yeah,
Right.
second year in a row for Newton. But I mean, what is wrong with Simon Whitlock? What has happened to this guy?
It's hard to say. He's not
I
playing
mean, everybody was writing Phil Taylor off, and he's in fifth. He's a point out of fourth. Top four. You got to make top four to
Yeah.
get to the
well. Right.
to get to the championship. But we have a new contest. We have a
Yes.
new contest.
That is our announcement.
It's Beat the Bill.
Beat the bill.
That's what I'm calling it. Beat the Bill.
Beat the bill.
So let me look up the
say-
directions
Could be beat the
because I don't
zone.
want to get this wrong.
You want to beat the zone?
Well, yeah, you gotta beat the zone. Here's the deal, and I've already got them. Can you read that, or do I have to read this?
No, you have to read it. I can't see through your microphone.
You can't see through my microphone.
Yeah.
Okay. I went too far. Okay, so here are his picks. Do not read them out loud. Oh, so you can't really see them.
Apparently, it's not the Ladbrokes anymore.
Oh, it's the William Hill.
Yeah.
Right, they just announced that today. My bad. Right, so the William Hill World Championship, whatever. I just call it the World Championship, and that should be plain to everyone, and
That would
yet
be
it
it.
isn't. Yeah,
Right.
So I don't, so you have to pick all, each. You got to pick the matches for the week. You get
Okay.
1 point if you
Pick
pick
it
it correctly, and then the tiebreaker.
Are these
This is
can
for
you
the
pick-
Premier League.
Can you pick tie? Are there ties in this round?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to pick the tie to be right.
Right. Okay.
If you pick, Taylor to beat Anderson and they tie, you lose.
You lose.
Right. So,
But you can pick ties.
yeah, you can pick ties. Yeah. So anyone who beats the bill
Yeah.
gets a $25 gift card for the dartzone.com.
Right. Not just one person. Anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyone who beats him.
All right.
So now, here's the tiebreaker. You have to. The tiebreaker, originally I was like, pick the number of legs or something like that. The tiebreaker is going to be pick the highest average that any player hits that week.
Oh. Okay.
And so the tiebreaker
Pick the
is,
player or what the average closest to what the average is.
No, pick the average.
Pick the average.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you don't. So what will be
Somebody
the highest?
averages
yeah,
110.
What will be the highest
Yeah,
average of
okay.
the week?
All right.
So you have to pick each match
Yeah.
and what the highest average will be, and send that. How are we going to do this? That I didn't figure out. What's the easiest way? You can do it. I'll tell you what. You can do it any way you want of these options. Option one, really, is you should email them to darttalk@gmail.com.
Right.
Email your picks to darttalk@gmail.com, and they have to be received before the
Before it
first match
starts.
begins.
Right. Which is
Right.
what?
Well,
Do we know?
Daylight savings. I think they start at 2:00 Central. I think. I don't know.
But yeah,
Don't
anyway,
write that down.
regardless.
But we have to have your picks before the first match
Yeah,
begins,
right.
right? Post time, whatever. And then anyone who wants to play needs to provide a winner for each of the 5 matches and guess the highest average. That's pretty simple, right?
seems simple enough.
Okay. So you can email them to darttalk@gmail.com,
Yeah.
or if you want to use Facebook, you can message Dart Talk. We have our own Facebook page. If you guys want to message me personally, if I know you, that's fine too. Because, everything's time-stamped.
Exactly.
So-
right. You're gonna know.
Right. And then I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think Bill's laying it on the line here. He could get slammed on this one.
Well, yeah, because he's not getting anything in return when he wins.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
he could get 20 people that, especially if his picks stink.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
could
I mean,
get-
if
he could
he has an
he would be giving-
offer,
yeah.
if he has an offer
He would
day
give it away
and
20 to
90 people,
Yeah,
what's
I was gonna say 20 to 30 people at $25 gift cards,
yeah? I mean, that's
but 90. Yeah, that's really he could He could get the hammer laid down on him.
Let me tell you, everybody should be shopping at thedartzone.com. And we don't really speak for him much. We mention him and stuff, but we don't really ever say, hey, But to be honest, not only has the guy supported the show for going on 3 years, right? The show started. We got 3 years in June. That's only a couple of months away. 3 years of this show. He's been sponsoring it. He's sponsoring the Players Challenge Series.
Right.
Right? I mean, what more do you want from a guy running, if you need flights, you need shafts, you need, new barrels, you need, especially if you need Cosmo. I mean,
exactly.
if you like the show and you listen to the show, you should be going to the dartzone.com and, giving this guy your business. Swear to God. I don't see any reason. I don't see anyone supporting the game the way Bill does. And I
would have to agree with that.
He has our eternal thanks. If you're listening, Bill, thank you very much. And I say that sincerely. I would say that even if, he wasn't sponsoring the show. Not to give you any ideas, Bill. No, seriously, but to put a contest like that and be like, hey, beat the dealer, beat the Bill, I think that's pretty cool. Okay, and then obviously,
I think it's a great idea.
Obviously, we can't
It's a lot
play.
of fun. No.
Obviously, we can't play, and it's probably going to have to be like one winner. You can only win once or something, or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't put the same entries, 10 different entries in it.
Yeah, one entry per person.
Right.
Right, and I have to get them before the first match.
Correct.
And you can only win once. I'll have to verify that with Bill and see.
That seems fair.
That seems kind of fair, doesn't it? Okay. And then there's actually, I got an email from Cosmo. They got some new stuff that came out. So I should probably mention that, but I don't have time. I'm so far behind on the email. If you've emailed me or Facebooked me, and some people sent me some very nice constructive criticism about, the streaming from Virginia Beach. I tried to help Lou out with that. And they did stream a bunch of matches from Virginia Beach. And if you want to see them, just go to our YouTube page. Go to go on YouTube and search Dart Talk US, and they're up there. I have not had time to go through them and like put links and be like, okay, this match starts at this time. You like I did for the stuff in Michigan.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't have time to do any of that, but there was a great men's final. I mean, we were talking about who's the best cricket player in America.
Yeah.
Right now, it's Soldier Gates.
Okay.
Even though Robbie had, such a great final on Sunday, Soldier Gates beat Bob Seneve, and he was one of our, who do you want to vote for kind of people.
Right.
Darren made top 4, Bob Seneve runner-up, but Leonard Gates is cricket king of America until next March or April or whenever, Virginia Beach has their tournament. Okay, we'll be back. We're going to take our second break. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve Ponziano. We'll be right back.
agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. So we get a question. Our musical director is in the chat room. That was him playing the little intro there and the interlude, our little commercial interlude music.
Yes.
He's asking if you're going to go to Kentucky.
Yes, and apparently something's wrong with my chat. Either that or they're all getting my answer that I've said 3 times. But it does not look like I am going to make it to Kentucky this weekend.
What is it going to take to get you out on the road?
Well, I need to, first of all, I got to get work off. So I need like a concrete decision that, yes, I'm going to go instead of, oh, well, maybe you should go, maybe you shouldn't. And then I have to find out what time you're leaving because I have to know which job I got to get off. Are we leaving Friday or Saturday? Because that makes a big difference.
Friday morning.
Well, I know, but
Really early Friday morning.
So when you don't know, then I don't know.
I just don't get it. People whose lives don't
need
revolve around darts.
We need better planning is what we do.
Better planning.
Yeah.
Anyway, I promised a picture of Adrian Gray. So
Yes.
here he is with me in the swimming pool. How big can we make this? There is your winner, who is, he is now the number 1 ranked soft tip player in the world.
Oh,
Adrian Gray.
All right.
So very handsome man.
He's got some
obviously.
Sean Narain sunglasses.
Yeah. And we should mention Sean Narain because Sean had a fantastic, it seems to me like fantastic little trip to, I guess I don't know if it's Reading or Reading, England, but.
Well, one of the two.
And if you look in the crawl, you'll see that Sean Narain not only finished in the top 32 of one of the players. It's confusing. It's getting to be like the English version of alphabet soup over there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah,
it looks to me like
bunch of consonants and vowels and
well,
stuff.
no, but I mean they have like a youth thing, but then they also have the Challenge Tour, and I think Sean's playing in both of them. But he made the final of one of the Challenge Tour events and made top 32 in one of the other ones. So congrats to Sean Narain. It was really funny. Jill has a new. Obviously, I have not been practicing in at least a year. Part of it is all the other stuff I'm doing, like revolving around the show and stuff. And
How'd she do this weekend?
She did great.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, Jill did great. I mean, she lost. And we talked about it. We had plenty of time to talk on the drive back. But, I mean, if you're a woman and somebody says, well, how'd you do in Virginia Beach? And you're like, well, I lost to Stacy Bromberg, Marilyn Pop, and Betty Cunningham.
Right.
I mean, it isn't like you got beat by Helen Keller and Ann Sullivan. Who's Helen Keller's teacher?
Oh, I don't know.
Ann something or other.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know why we always pick on Helen Keller.
Either one.
No, she played good.
Well, because it's not easy to throw darts.
No, and to be honest with you, she's one of these players. I had a long talk in Virginia Beach with George Silverstam. We actually had a sandwich together. And George has been around forever. And
the same sandwich? Did you split one, or did you guys each have your own?
Okay. We each had our own.
All right,
it wasn't like we're not as cozy as me and Adrian in the pool there.
Okay.
You're welcome for the beefcake, ladies. By the way, just talking about
yes,
Adrian, not me. No, that was a few years ago. I think that was at the Tropicana when they had the World Festival of Darts. I think is when that was taken.
That's where my grandfather's buried.
Yeah, I know that story. That's an interesting one. Good family one. You totally lost my train of thought now, but
you and Joe were talking on the ride home about. Oh no, you were having a conversation with George because you were sharing a sandwich.
Well, yeah, and George has been around darts since like the late 70s. So I mean, I consider him a knowledgeable guy. I don't agree with 80% of what he says. But, he always has valid reasons for what he thinks, which is nice. You can have a nice conversation with somebody like that. But one of the things he said that I tried to convey to Jill on the ride home is like, you don't realize how much you've improved. And George Silverstam's analogy was like, if you have kids, And he's immediately like, "Do you have kids?" And I'm like, "No."
Right.
So, but don't worry, I've been
But
an
yeah.
uncle.
Yeah.
No, the idea is, you see your kids every day, and you don't really realize how much they're growing. But as an uncle, where I see a niece and
Yeah.
a nephew once or twice a year, and they're young, and you look, holy cow, did
Right.
you grow in the last year or something? That's how it is with a lot of players, I think, where it's hard for them to measure their success. And, Stacy's been the number one player, whenever she can get out there. I mean, she's recovering health-wise, and I don't know how much of a struggle that was, but she had pretty good results for somebody who's, been ill.
Right.
And, Marilyn Pops, like, the class, she's like the queen. I mean, Marilyn is like, I've never heard anyone say a bad word about Marilyn in 10 years.
Well, these weren't all in the first round either, though.
Well, no.
See, that's
Well,
the other
no,
thing.
and that's kind of what I tried to tell her. And I'm
Yeah.
like, look, you're doing fine. I mean, obviously, you're not in the upper echelon and you're not beating, but, she took a leg off of Stacy and la-di-da-di-da. And it's like, hey,
Yeah.
you're one leg away from a fifth.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
and she missed a double in
2
another
years
one. And
ago-
I'm like, oh, you're
2
right
years
there.
ago, she wouldn't have gotten into the round of playing those people.
I don't think so. No.
So that she is improving.
But she's motivated to practice. So we have season tickets to the Cubs now, which is a whole nother deal where it's like now your life revolves around Cub games as if they didn't revolve.
Boy, that's a fun life.
Well, no, we get back from vacation just in time for opening day, and it's like
35 degrees.
Oh, wow. Saturday was worse.
Was it really?
Oh, Saturday.
Wow.
Because we're in the left field.
The
We're
wind
in
was
the
coming from the
left
different
field
direction?
upper deck. First row of the upper deck. Great seats. So we're facing east.
Yeah.
So the wind out of the southeast literally blows right in our faces. And
On
it was
Saturday.
cold. I couldn't take it. Eighth inning, I'm like, okay, I can't feel my
That's
feet
awful.
anymore. I think we have to, kind of skedaddle. But her plan now is like, well, now we have a practice schedule. We're going to take our darts to the Cub games and then go practice after the Cub games. This is a long way around the block. So we go out to practice, and there's this one guy, he just kind of started playing, and he's really into it. He's got a lot of talent, and it was the funniest thing. He's like, hey, I've been listening to your podcast and stuff. I'm like, hey, great. He's like, so let me ask you this. And I'm like thinking, okay, here we go. He's like, is Sean Narain for real?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, he is. I'm like, you watch in 2 years. He'll if he continues progressing
Yeah.
the way he's been progressing, he's going to smoke. He'll be smoking everybody. I mean, okay. I obviously just made enemies with like all the top players who
Well, that's all right.
don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. That's what I see.
They just,
And,
of
you know,
course
he's
they don't
growing
think
up.
it's going to happen.
Well,
but
he's growing up and he's learning how to, deal with disappointment and deal with success. And
Right.
you look at some of these guys. Look at Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy.
Right, he's number one in the world. Takes his terrible tumble. He's got issue. I don't know what personal things happened to him last year, but I mean, they were making references to it. They never said what it was, but he had some sort of problems and stuff like that.
Really?
And well, life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Life getting in the way of darts is like, I don't know what to make of that, but it happens.
Well, of course.
So anyway, Sean Narain, I was just sort of so like, guy listened to like 10 episodes or something, and I hope everyone had a chance to catch up while we took our hiatus last week. But I was really sort of impressed by that. Not impressed enough to actually go whip out the sunglasses, but
Nice. Right.
hopefully we'll be talking about Sean
Oh, yeah.
a lot more. I don't know what happened in Macau with the Americans. I mean, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody. I don't know if they're all back yet, but I mean, it was like of all the stages where
What
we
happened
sent,
with,
yeah, like
Sorry.
we're not getting guys in the top four. We're not
Right,
getting guys
exactly.
in the top
Right.
8 like we usually do, and I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. I don't know if it hot shooters. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, but I was sort of surprised. And then there were some people that I've never even heard of that were like, registered and it says USA, and I'm like,
really?
who's this guy? I mean, I'm kind of ignorant about soft tip and stuff like that. A few more announcements. I'm
Oh, we have
behind,
more announcements.
Well, as long as I'm confessing. I mean, I'm behind on the power rankings. We'll try to get those
Okay.
up. I'm going to Kentucky this weekend. Anybody that wants to play in a tournament should go to Lexington this weekend. Long format, round robin, 0-1, and I think cricket. It's going to be a great time.
All right.
And I'm going to take those. I took the scoreboards the guy gave
Yeah,
us,
yeah, yeah.
the RVB
Yeah,
Easy Scores.
The
yeah, we're going to
magnetic
donate
ones?
those. Yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
donate those to to the
Oh,
Blazing
nice.
Saddles charity thing.
All right.
We got a nice note. They raised $8,000 for autism in Philly.
Sweet.
The guys that were on the show
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, and
All right.
they were very happy to come on. And I'm like, hey, come on anytime. Do you want to sponsor a board again this year?
Yeah,
Pam
absolutely.
Briggs was asking if we're
Yeah.
going to do another one of those.
Yeah.
You have to cough up more. Remember, we had Chat Room Girl kicked in a third last
Okay,
year, so
that's
you're
right.
on the hook for a half.
All right.
It's
I'm in.
so I'll take care of it. Just give me like $200 in cash, and I'll take care of sponsoring
Okay.
the board.
All right.
Anybody that if anybody has questions on how to support some of these tournaments, and you can't find the information, send me an email. Send an email to darttalk@gmail.com, and we will make sure
We'll
that
figure it out.
we'll make sure that you get an answer from someone who actually knows.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of these coming up now. I think the Beacon of Hope is in June. I don't remember. Was it June last year? I don't remember.
Oh,
Okay, well,
you're
anyway,
asking the
that's
wrong
coming
one
up.
here.
And we'll try to get one of those girls on the show. Try to get Vicky or Pam Briggs on the show
Okay.
to
Talk
talk that
about
up
it. You're right.
during this in 2 weeks. Remind me.
Remind you.
2 weeks is the ladies show.
Yes.
Next week, what are we doing?
I thought next week was the ladies' show.
No. See?
See, you got me all confused.
No, next week we're doing the draw for the PCS.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean we can't do
Right.
that in the same week.
No, we're gonna have like a show
Okay. So
all
we're-
about women's darts from start to finish,
All right.
with the exception of the disclaimer and any of my ramblings. It's all going to be on women's darts. And if
So that's
there are
in 2 weeks.
any women out there listening that want to participate in the roundtable, send an email to darttalk@gmail.com or Facebook me or something. Let me know if you want in, and we'll try to get a good discussion.
So next
on some
week
of
is
these
the second
issues.
round of the PCS drawing.
We will do the live draw
Yeah,
for the
that's what it is.
PCS next week's show.
Yeah.
And then the week after, we'll do the women's show.
Right.
As long as the women will come on. If they,
Yeah.
if they can't
Well,
make it and we have to reschedule it, then I'm not taking the rap for that, and we'll do it the week after
Sure.
or something like that. But we'll try to get as representative a roundtable of women darters that I
As we
can
can.
muster, and see what they come up with. Because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, here's Virginia Beach. Really, it's got to be the best tournament in America. Here's Virginia Beach, who really are like, you know what? We're going to try this. We're going to try this women's
Pro shoot.
pro shoot
Right.
for cricket. And people are telling them, like I talked to the tournament director before the thing, and they were worried they weren't going to get enough women. And I'm like, no. You got this. You got this. And they had it by miles. So,
yeah, that's great.
and I actually asked her before the show. I just sent her like a little message, like, "Hey, what about next year? What did you think the highlight of the weekend was, and stuff like that?" Thinking she would say the streaming, but no, she said it was the women's pro cricket shoot, and it was very successful. Jill played in it. Jill really enjoyed it. Thought it was great, and. I don't know. It looked like everybody was having a good time.
That's good.
It looked like
Yeah.
high quality play.
Right.
Looked like a lot of the women were playing good. So you
Who
got to
won
like
it?
that. I mean, you just need more of these things. You need, if all the tournaments would, drop an event or two and lengthen the format of the singles,
Right.
I cannot imagine who would complain. I can't imagine even like the local players. It's always whenever I talk to tournament directors and I say,
It's
"Oh,
the
you should
local
do
players.
this, you should do that," they always say, "Oh, well, the local players won't like it," and I'm like.
But I agree. The local players should be happy to come out and have more darts to throw. Isn't
Yeah.
that the point?
Yeah, the whole, if you go back, anybody wants to go back in the archive, if you go to Dart Talk US and you look for show number 11, which is, you got to scroll down through 99 shows. But if you look for it's show 7, show 11, something like that in the first year, we did the ultimate tournament format,
Okay.
which was basically modeled after Le Scratch. And it works. It works for everybody. It works for the good players. It works for the bad players. It's very popular in Canada with almost everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of people,
Well,
a couple of Canadians
not
are like,
gonna-
"Oh, I'm so tired of round robin."
You're not going to get 100% of the people like everything anyway.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's like, okay, if two people don't like it,
Big
that's
deal.
no reason not to do it.
Exactly. Right.
I mean, if we didn't do the show because 2 people didn't like it, we wouldn't be here.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, I
I'd
mean,
be
you're not going
sitting
to
on my
keep
couch right-
you're not going to keep everybody happy, but
Right.
but the notion that you can keep these existing tournaments and improve them and make them better for everyone. I think that's a positive thing for the
Absolutely.
world. I'm thinking.
Who won the women's pro shoot? Did you say that earlier?
It's on the bottom. I think it was Paula Murphy.
Oh,
I think Paula Murphy beat Sandy Hudson in the final.
all right.
And then they teamed up and they won the women's cricket doubles. They beat Stacey Bromberg and Marilyn Pop, and it kind of went right down to bowls
Nice.
at the end there. So it was, high quality of play. And it was the usual suspects with the women. I mean, Robin and Callie were in top 4 in every event. And, Paula did really well. Stacey did well. Marilyn Pop did well. Betty Cunningham did well. There's some names that, maybe like Melinda Mannion, I think, made a final. And she was telling me that she's primarily a soft tipper, but I believe she's been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know her that well, but there are a couple of other people that, I was like, I'm not sure who that is, but she plays pretty good. So there was a good, tough field of women. As tough as women's field you're probably going to see all year. I mean,
Well, that goes for both sides then.
yeah, I mean, the thing is it's like if you look at like the tournaments where the ADO's flying in people, I used to think that those, generally all the good women show up to those, but I don't know. This field was pretty deep. I think it was kind of a minefield. The men's was like that was your typical bloodbath. Are you cueing me that it's time for a break? So
I was gonna,
I see you kind of.
but yeah,
we'll
I
just
lost-
take a break. All right, we'll be back for one more segment. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark C. Pronunciamo. We'll be right back.
You are now and forevermore warned that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, back for the fourth quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. I guess I'm not the only one that's rusty.
No.
How do you like
apparently
doing the
I can't
music
chat.
now?
I can't chat, and my finger slips when it's
Yeah,
doing the music.
you're having all
but-
sorts of issues.
Yeah, I don't
there.
know what's going on.
I don't know what's wrong with the chat. I don't know if people are chatting. We
People
can
are chatting,
we
yeah.
can see you guys chatting, but apparently Mark's been blocked.
Yeah,
don't know how
everything
that
I
happened.
type something in, it doesn't go through.
I don't understand. You broke something. I
Yeah,
warned you not to
probably.
break
I
anything.
know. I know.
As usual, you can get the old shows on darktalk.us. We got the whole archive up there. If you want the Virginia Beach stuff, you need to go to our YouTube page, Dart Talk US. If you search that on YouTube and you get to our channel, they're all up there. What were we talking about right before the break?
The women's pro
Babbling on-
shoot,
Oh, the women's pro shoot.
which I thought we concluded.
Did we? Well, I'm looking at the flyer for the. There's 2 tournaments this weekend, and that I know of anyway.
One's in Kentucky.
Yeah, one's in Kentucky, and I don't know if the Dallas Darts Live is this weekend, but yeah, one's in Kentucky, one's in Charlotte. The Charlotte Open, they're having like the whatchamacallit. It's like the Winmaw Masters shoot, so they'll send a couple people to the Winmaw Masters, which
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just sort of like, why not send them to the UK Open?
Right.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're ever gonna.
Do that.
I don't know.
Figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's one thing to disagree with decisions that are made. It's another thing to really kind of ask, well, how did this decision get made? What was the thought process here? And if the thought process is, well, this is what we've always done, then I'm kind of like, well,
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure. That's what I like about Virginia Beach, and Nashville to another extent is like that too. I mean, if something doesn't work, they change it.
Mm-hmm.
People like it, they try to give you more. I mean, they're responsive. A lot of tournaments I see, kind of doing the same old thing. Hard to get much buzz about that. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, sure.
But now, if you
But they
look
still
here,
think they're successful.
well, I mean,
they're
it
just not
depends.
trying to grow.
No one defines success the same way. I mean, I
Exactly,
think for some
right.
tournaments, if they don't lose a dime, that's
They
successful.
think it's great. Yeah.
For Myrtle Beach, if the guy doesn't make 10 grand, he's probably like, well, it was a bad tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. It depends kind of how you look at it. But this tournament, Virginia Beach has been growing every year. So I think it was brilliant for them to do the ladies pro shoot. This is the flyer for the Blazing Saddles Charity Open.
All right.
And here's the thing about this tournament that makes it so wonderful is, John Frank, he's a friend of the show, tries to do things. He traveled to a bunch of tournaments and tried to be like, well, this, I like this, I like this, I like this, kind of a la carte, built his own tournament. He's got the toilet bowl, which is
toilet
like,
bowl.
it's a free entry for people that are out in like the first 2 rounds of the singles.
Okay.
They just throw another event in there. And it doesn't cost a dime.
Yeah.
How is that not cool?
That's great.
You've got round robin. You've got knockout singles. You've got a 301 pro shoot. I mean, and the food at this hotel is like stellar.
Really.
It's like the best bar
That's surprising.
food. It's the best bar food I think I've ever had. Their burger that they have down there is probably the best burger I've ever had in a bar,
Wow.
including the bars in Chicago that charge you like 50. Well, okay, I take that back. There's a new place that opened across from Wild, and they have like this cheeseburger with like this Wisconsin beer cheese
Yeah.
curd that drips and everything. It's like really good.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's like practically, going to give you a
Well, yeah.
cholesterol
It's
attack.
yeah.
but-
Yeah. Cardiac arrest waiting to happen. But
yeah, like the guys, with the brats and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. No, it was pretty good though. No, the food there is fantastic, and he's got people. You go to some of these tournaments and they're charging like $5 for an import and stuff like
course.
this. They don't do that in Kentucky. Kentucky's like, very very doable, and the entry fees are low, and I just think it's great. So you've got round robin singles, you've got a trips, you got a blind draw.
there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
Cricket
toilet bowl is a
501.
great idea.
yeah. He got that
For those people that
Yeah.
just because you lose, you can go throw some darts.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how he came up with that. He went to some tournament in Roswell, New Mexico. He went to the Alien Open, and that's what they do there. And he
Nice
was like,
name.
"Well, this
That's
is like
awesome.
really cool." I mean, there's a couple of tournaments that I would really like to go to. One is this chicken coop thing. I think it's in Missouri where it's outdoors and you kind of camp all weekend.
Oh, really?
That sounds really cool. I've always wanted to go to the one up in New Hampshire, Green Mountain, the White Mountain.
Okay.
Always wanted to go to that one. They have a consolation singles and stuff there too. if you're knocked out in the first couple of rounds, they just run another event for you. I kind of think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure you have to pay another entry fee. So this one's free. I mean,
Right.
free is better, right? I mean,
Well, normally.
in theory.
Well, other than the consolation one that you're paying for, the payout's going to be bigger.
You would think.
You know.
Yeah, you would think. So, yeah, that's tournament. I always wanted to go to the Portland Open. I never go to that because I've never been to Portland. And I always thought that'd be cool.
That would be cool. I've never been there either.
Hawaii.
Oh.
I mean, they
How
have
could
a
you
darts
not?
live in Hawaii. Well, I've never been to Hawaii, so everybody tells me it's awesome. I'm going to find out,
You'll find
apparently.
out,
I'll
yeah.
find out in
The end of the
December.
year.
We're going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we're not packing darts, are we? Are you bringing darts to Hawaii?
I haven't even thought about it. Why not?
Well, it's a little early to be packing.
Yeah.
So we're
Well,
going to have to obviously...
I
Are we
could,
gonna
pack, I could pack my darts for Hawaii right now, and they're going to get the same amount of use that they're getting right now.
You know what? I will load all the show software on your laptop. If you bring your laptop and we can find a place with upload speed, we could do the show from
There you
Hawaii.
go.
I think that'd be hilarious. And actually live from Hawaii, not the fake. Like
It'd be
we're
better than
actually
this
we're
picture,
actually in
right.
Virginia Beach. If you guys have suggestions on the background or you want to submit something to us,
Feel free.
make it big. It needs to be 1920 by 1280. And send it to darttalk@gmail.com. And if we like your background, we may use it. If you have a picture of a favorite dart bar you like I wanted
There
to
you
get
go.
a picture of Will's.
Right.
If you can take a picture with your phone of Will's and have the dart boards where they fit up here, right?
Okay.
We can
All right.
use. I'll put Will's in there. I'll do Murphy's. I mean, if you guys have a picture of a dart bar you really like and you want us to do the show from your dart bar, send us the pictures. So
There
we
you
can
go.
do magic now. What else are we doing? So there's Charlotte this weekend. There's
Kentucky, which you're going to.
Blazing
You're not
Saddles
sure
Charity
if the-
Open in Lexington. Well, I know that there's a Dallas, Texas. There's a Darts Live coming up.
Right.
But I mean, the tournament season is really kind of like we'll have a lot more time to talk about stuff now because
It's slowing down.
yeah, it's slowing down.
Yeah.
So it's just the beginning of the year is just so brutal with all the traveling and stuff like that. And don't forget now. Do you remember what the rules are now? They have to send us their picks. If you want to
Yes.
win, if you want to beat the bill,
You have to send the picks before the first round match.
yeah, before the first match tomorrow,
Right.
because we do the show Wednesdays. I already have Bill's picks, and
One
will-
entry per person.
I don't know if he'll probably publish them. I don't, we kind of I haven't had time to talk to him, but he'll probably publish them. I have he's already done his picks, and I have his average here, but I guess we should communicate that in some way, shape, or form before the first match. Like we should post it or something, or how are we supposed to do that?
Well, that's. I mean,
We'll work it out. Whatever.
But I mean, if everybody, it's time stamped. If everybody sends you one,
Well, I
you
know,
know-
but they need to see what the bill did. If it's beat the
yeah,
bill,
well,
you
then
need to know
would
what
have
the bill did.
You would just have to reply Bill's picks to that person.
I know, but shouldn't we publish them?
Sure.
Otherwise, we could be accused of
Well, no, but
malfeasance.
if you send them to each individual that sent in a bracket, their own picks, then those are the only people that really care.
Oh, right. Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Well, what am I to sit in front of my email
How
and
you
just
might.
reply?
Well,
when
you
got to
sit there and look at each one.
No,
anyway.
we'll publish them. We'll put them on the website before the show or before the first
Right.
match. We're gonna have to put a page on the website or something for this, so people can find it easy
Okay.
and submit your picks and stuff like that. And I think you can only win once,
One
or
winner,
one per month or something. What do radio stations?
one per
do?
month.
You can only win like one per month. Remember all the radio stations?
Well, I
used
know,
to
but
call
this
in.
is
and
a specific.
we'll take the 10th caller.
this is a
at,
specific one-time thing.
The 10th caller at.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with us. They're not beating us at anything.
They're beating the bill. We're representing the bill.
Oh, I know, but it's
You got to beat the bill.
right.
Okay, so how do you know if you beat the bill? You look and you see what the bill picked.
But that doesn't mean the next thing that we run that's any of those 80 people that are going to beat the bill can win anything from us. They're not exempt, or they're not.
Well, what? What are you talking about?
You said you could only win once.
Confused. You could or once a month or something.
Once a month. This isn't a monthly tournament.
It's weekly. The Premier League is every week. Or is he just doing it this one week?
I don't know.
Oh, no. I thought this was going to go every week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, yeah.
Well, that
I'm,
makes
I'm
more
pretty
sense.
sure.
You have me all confused. now.
Okay. No. This is going to be a weekly thing. There are people that are like, weekly pool and stuff like that for
All
this.
right.
So it was
Okay.
kind of like, well, okay, if you want to enhance your
Well, then you're
Premier
actually
League
gonna have to.
experience.
You're actually going to get ask Bill what happens if Joe Schmo beats him every week.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I think you can only win once a month.
Okay. Well, that's up to
Or
Bill.
once.
It's his.
Well, yeah, I got to ask him.
So
But we'll put it on the website, and I'll publish his picks so everybody knows that his picks are in before, because he already sent them to me.
yeah.
But I mean, if I put them in now,
No.
you can't do it that way. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the logistics of when do we how do we publish his picks, where do we put them? That's the thing where it's like
Whereas-
you can't see his average until you know what I mean.
Till
It's
the
got to be a
first- till-
blind.
yeah.
I
Unless
would think.
unless you make everything has to be 10 minutes before the first match starts, and then at that point, any entries have to be in 10 minutes before.
Well, we said before the first match starts, all
Right.
your entries have to be in. So
So well,
the minute the match starts, I can publish
can-
his picks
exactly.
and just
Right.
because I could do it in advance, and then just kind of hit post, and it'll show up.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to put it on
Right.
a web. I don't know where to put it on the website. We got to
Right.
add like a
So-
new page.
yeah. So
or
as long as
something.
you post them the minute it starts,
yeah.
then everything's
Well, that
fine.
requires me being in front of a
I know,
computer
which
Thursday.
you usually are anyway.
Oh, is that so? Apparently, I'm always on. According to Neil Quennin, I'm always on vacation. So I
Oh, really?
yeah. No, I haven't posted on Facebook in weeks. I'm like, hey, I'm back from a fabulous vacation. Only 3 hours of updates. I ran all the updates, that were stacked up. Everything needed updating. Did you hear about this bug? All you
I just heard briefly about it on the news
Okay.
tonight.
What everybody needs to do, if it's the Heartland plug, what is it?
The Heart
Heart.
something bug.
Yeah, okay. It has to do with SSL, which is a serious deal. So what you need to do is change your passwords Saturday. Everything that all you listeners that listen to podcasts and all this stuff, since you're all computer people, obviously, since, we're not on terrestrial radio, you need to change your passwords on anything that you do like encrypted, like with your email or with Amazon.com or eBay or something. Change your passwords this weekend. There was a bug that I don't think was really exploited by anybody, but they found out about it, and so everybody's patching it.
Right.
So, and I was trying to explain this to Joe. I'm not going to get all technical here, but basically, everyone's going to fix it this week, and it's possible your passwords, there's a very, very, very minimal chance that somebody has your password. So once everything is updated by the people, like by Amazon.com
Right.
and by like your bank or, whatever, then just change your password and you should be good to go.
Okay.
Like I'm dealing with StubHub.com, right?
Yeah.
The Cub tickets aren't going to be selling.
Does StubHub not even want them?
No, StubHub will take them. They just sit there. I mean, it's absolutely the place. We went last night. It was the first night game of the year, and there was no wind. It wasn't warm. It was like 40 degrees,
Yeah.
but there was like no wind, so it wasn't that bad. But we looked around. You could hear the guy. We're in the left field upper deck. You could hear the guy in the center field bleachers. Hot chocolate, hot chocolate.
Yeah. Well, you got to wait until May.
Yeah,
Nobody's
kind of
coming
what
out
I'm
right
thinking.
now.
That's what my my
Once-
brother's at the game tonight. But
Once May and June, in June you'll be selling them.
you
when
think
it's warm out and people just want to go to a game.
that's when I want to go?
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, are we done?
Yeah.
What did I forget to talk about?
If I knew that.
We did Darts Live, the Premier League. We did Virginia
Virginia
Beach. We previewed
We
Blazing
did
Saddles.
We did all our
we
announcements.
talked about Okay, so good luck to everyone going to Charlotte. Good luck winning a trip to England to go play in the Masters. Wish you luck with that. What else? Good. I
Have
will
fun
see
in
everyone.
Kentucky.
Come to Kentucky
Have
and
fun
say
in
hi.
Kentucky. Sorry, I can't be there.
And
Happy birthday, Mongo.
Oh, happy! We're a day early. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm
happy
just-
birthday, Mongo.
I'm not going to see him.
You're such a lamer. You got to start
So I
getting out on.
figured
You
I'd
got
tell
to
him
start
happy
coming out
birthday.
on the road, man. You got to start coming out on the road and coming to these tournaments. You let your life revolve around darts. Make yourself happy.
Oh, is that? That's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the secret to
right.
happiness. Okay, everybody, thanks for listening. Mark will hang around in the chat room, as will I, for a while, but the cameras are going to go off. It's going to be that way for a while till I figure out a workaround for some of this stuff. We'll be back next week at our normal time. We will do the live draw
Correct.
for the second round of the PCS next week. And until then, thanks for listening. Everybody take care.